Okay, year 7. Welcome back. I'm Mr. Ali with Computing with Mr. Ali, and I have good news and I have great news. First, good news is it looks like that for non-core subjects, we're not going to live lessons. So you can watch my YouTube videos, do your work remotely, do it in your own time. Do it when you want to, do it at midnight, your gym jams if your parents let you. Absolutely fine with me. All I want you to do is engage, enjoy yourself, and learn some interesting things to do with computer science. We're going to have some fun. Secondly, we are going to, great news, going to continue on with Robo the Robot in RoboMind Academy. So without any further ado, let's have a look at what he's doing, what he's getting up to, and here we go. Factories, continuing to repeat. We're going to continue on with the repeat function, see what we can do with that. Then we're going to go on to more interesting and complicated coding. And we're still controlling the robot, we're still doing useful things with technology, but just these little splash pages give some interesting content and conceptual ideas of what you can do with this kind of code. Okay, so you got robots in a factory. There are lots of robots in a factory. There are millions of them. And over the next 10 years, these are expected to increase by 10 times. Now, someone's got to program these. Someone's got to control them. Someone's got to tell them what to do. And these are the skills that you're learning as we go. So what's the point to robots? They're strong, they can lift heavy weights, they do dangerous work. So human beings don't have to do this. They do things that are continuous over and over again, iterative. Tier 2 word for today, it means to do something over and over and over until a specific condition is met or until a result has been gained. And they don't get tired, they can work day and night. So these are the usefulness factors of robots. So you see Robo the Robot, he doesn't have to necessarily repeat everything in the exact same way. And this can be useful as well. Right's not repeated, he goes 2 steps forward, 1 steps back. You might hear this, you might hear your parents say this occasionally, but these are the ways that can happen. Okay, what are we going to do today? We're going to bake some pancakes on the conveyor belt. So we're going to use our start paint, stop paint, and here's some code I made earlier. This is the simple one. We're going to repeat this 5 times and paint 5 pancakes down on the belt. So if I start the code, you can see there's a bit of code outside the iteration, the repeat sequence, and there's some code inside. What do we get? Robo turns, he comes down, he turns, and he paints 1 pancake per square. In some of these operations, I'm going to skip to the end. Trust me, it works in a way that it's advertised. Yay, that's the way. So if we go to our next task, we'll see how he might do this if he has to paint that many times. So we're going to create 10 pancakes instead of just 5. And in this way, we just alter the code slightly. And this gives us the result that we want. So if we've got a bit of code here, this might be called an object, it might be called a function, it might be called a subroutine, but it's a piece of code, a chunk of code that can be modified and put into a different program and essentially achieve the same thing in a slightly different way, and that saves you time. You don't have to completely reinvent the wheel, you don't have to completely rewrite code to do something slightly different but pretty much the same. So that's from going from 5 pancakes to 10 pancakes. Let's see what our next task is. Okay, so Robo is going to pick up the object, spin around, and place it on the black, from the white line onto the black line. So I've written some code to do that. We're going to repeat this code 3 times. Here we go. And again, the thing about this is useful code. This is code concepts that you can use in a career in manufacturing or in manufacturing of airplanes, manufacturing of automobiles, anything that's built, anything that's made a lot of times uses robots to do the actual work. So we've taken 3 objects from the white line, we've come around and placed them on the gray line behind it. Let's see what we would do if we do lots. Okay, so we're just going to take the same code, we're going to extend it out a bit and do the same thing, but just do lots of things. Now, like I've said, we've skipped ahead so that you don't have to watch Robo do the same thing over and over again. This is it's a bit tedious for human beings. Robots are good at it, and that's kind of the point. Now, our next, let's see, spin around, happy dance, hooray. So our next task is going to get slightly more complicated. We have to do 2 separate iteration sequences so that, and this is an important note, let me just say right now, sequence means 2 things in programming. The first thing we're learning right now, it's a sequence of commands. Do command 1, do command 2, do command 3, do command 4 in a specific order, and it accomplishes the things you want. That's what we're learning for the moment. We'll learn about other sequences possibly later on in the year, possibly in year 8. We'll see. Okay, so Robo's going to take 6 objects from the top bar and place them on the bottom bar. And he's going to go through this, but what he has to do is there has to be a bit of segue code in this so that he knows to alter his position and take things from the bottom bar and put them on the top bar. Now, as I was saying before, there are uses for robots in manufacturing, there are uses in warehousing. We saw the Okada warehouse. Features of robots used in telemedicine by operating on human hearts and livers, setting bones and whatnot from around the world via the internet. It's amazing. And when 5G comes, this will become even more available due to the lack of latency. But one interesting place that robots are used virtually is in flying aircraft. For probably 20 years now, Boeing and Airbus and Bombardier and other airplane manufacturers have used software to fly, to land, to take off, and to fly airplanes. Not just the autopilot, but most aircraft landings are done in what's called fly-by-wire. So the software does the work, not the pilots. Pilots commit mistakes, they get tired, they fly a long ways. There we go, we have achieved that using 2 code sequences. We're going to go ahead now and we'll look at something very complicated. Robo has to take this object, place it below, and take this object, place it on the top. And this was tricky. I wanted to create 2 code sequences, so we did the whole top bar, then did the bottom bar, and swapped around. Finally, I just got tired of rewriting, so I put it all in one big sequence, and this is what I've got. If you can do it in 2 sequences, there's a golden ticket waiting for you. I would love to see it, and I'd love to see it work. Go ahead and do a screen grab and let me know, but that's one of your challenges for today. We'll start and watch him do it. This is the way I've coded it. It's probably fewer lines of code. It might not be the most useful sequence. Maybe it is, who knows. We'd have to see what other use cases there were. But as I was saying before, the airline industry has used robots in a virtual way to do what's called fly-by-wire by using the software to control the wings, control the rudders, control the fuel usage. And this optimizes not just landings and takeoffs, but also it cuts down on the amount of fuel they use, it finds the most efficient path through the air, it finds its way around storms, it takes loads of data, crunches the numbers, and finds the best way to fly the airplane. So, the useful bit of this for you is to think about how could you have a really, really fun but very rewarding career using robots and controlling them via software. So it's something to think about whilst you do your coding, whilst you're making Robo do the things you want him to, is how to take objects, use software, and make them do the things that you want them to. Everybody wins. It's better for the human beings. It makes things more efficient, and it makes everything work better for humanity. So there we go. Once you've completed that, we go forwards, and congratulations, you've completed the end of this part. If you can get to this point, screen grab this for me, and I would love to see that come back. Share it with me, and there's some golden tickets on tap for you. So the last thing I'm going to do is just to fade back here. As you can see, I'm broadcasting from a very famous place in the world, not necessarily from London today. It's a very famous place I have visited. It's our nice screen grab in the background. If you can tell me where this is, there's another golden ticket and prizes to be won. And I'd love to hear back from you. Share that with me on the chat. Share that with me in OneDrive. And this is Mr. Ali saying so long. We'll see you next week. Thanks very much.